morning, guys and gals. We have some more YouTube gold, some unexpected, and we have officially come up with a name for this car, and it's a pretty common one. We're gonna call it the Rust Stain. Yep, because half the car is on the floor now because I've been, you know, doing that kind of thing. And anyway, this is not the project today. Today we have another very special guest, and she's decided, okay, I decided that she needed to work with me on this one. We don't get many projects, so whenever we do, old Dad's gonna take advantage of it. You ready?
Hey.
It's old Tater. Yep. She's got her old Grand Dammit here, and I was driving it the other day to get it inspected because this was one of them repo cop things. You've been going too fast, and we're gonna put it in impound. One of those. Anyway, so I'm not sure. I don't remember any squeaks, growls, or anything on this car. And then magically there was the day of the inspection, of course. But it passed because they don't drive it, whatever. They just make sure it's not stolen, all that good stuff. Anyway, so Tater, yeah. What kind of wheel bearing did we get? Do you know? We got this off the Amazonian site. It's a Jug Mug. Oh, there it is. Moog. It's a Moog. It's a problem solver, and it's one of the best you can get, in my opinion. So, first things first, of course, you gotta take off the wheel. And next, you're gonna have to remove this brake caliper. Now, we've preemptively gone ahead and knocked her loose. If this bolt turns this is an 18 that you gotta grab a hold of it. Go ahead and show him, Tater. And she may take two hands. She may not.
All right, let me start.
This may take a second. But she's going to take the caliper off. All right. Whenever it does that, Kens, yep, just twist her on out. But we did a big boo-boo already. I forgot to press back that caliper, didn't I?
Ooh, look at that.
That's anti-seize right there. Somebody did their due diligence. That's a good thing. And they didn't want this thing seizing up. Nope. It's on the very bottom there, bud.
Oh.
Make sure you get both bolts. And you may have to use that 19 millimeter or 3/4, whatever. I'll show you more whenever we get this caliper off, and then we're just going to tuck it up out of the way. And yeah, just give me a few minutes here. Give her a few minutes. So we're getting there, and I don't know if you can tell by the amount of tools and dirt and mischief afoot, but we have ran into like every single snag that there could be on this old bird. And I don't know why. Everything was actually anti-seized. We can't even get the darn rotor off of it for some reason. I mean, there's a lot of rust. So I'm gonna get a light so I can further show you how we had to get this daggone tie rod end off. That's been our hiccup, like for an hour or 45 minutes, whatever. So, of course, the first thing we did was take off the brake caliper, right?
Yep.
Then we took off that bracket that sits right here. Those are going to be pretty tight, okay? Now, here is the part that gave us some fits. Get in there and turn that wheel, will you? So I can show them in good detail.
This way?
Now, we already zapped the nut off. The Harbinese Freight 1/2-inch drive had enough to do that. This right here, actually, this fella down here, the nut on it, was our issue. And the reason why we need all this out of there is because you need to pull this axle because you're replacing a hub assembly. Yep, that's a true story. Now, we couldn't get this darn thing because as soon as we got down so far, it actually released. These are a pinch fit. The tighter you tighten it, the more you know, it squeezelates. So whenever we got down here to the bottom, there is a 5/16, well, there was a 5/16 type looking hex head on it that you can, and you probably will if this happens to you, be using one of these. Yep. Now, we did that until we couldn't, and it was still on there too tight. So, just imagine, I mean, this was some good old ingenuity, and now I lost the nut. Dang it. So, where did I put that nut? Did you see it? All right, now you got tools to pick up. Well, okay, you're going to have to go to Pretendville with me and pretend that this has the nut on it. What I had to do was wedge this in between the knuckle and the bottom of the nut and push down to get that pinch method going on again. And then whenever that happened, the last like 3 threads finally went loose.
Finally.
And that brings us to this point. If this doesn't release, well, good for you. If it does, or if it doesn't, usually you can take and hit right here. And you'll see it pop up, okay? And this rubber mallet, that's because we got her cranked. I just had her crank the wheel for you. Now, after that, you go to the bottom ball joint and you remove that cotter pin. Now we're getting to some nitty gritty. Hopefully this goes down like, you know, nope. So you're going to have to do the exact same thing. Turn this sucker out like this and smack right here because it's pinched, okay? I like using the slap method, but Tater's going to have to help me with the slap method because I can't. I don't think I can hold a hammer and smack it with the other arm right now. But you know, we're getting better. It's more gooder. But yeah, we're gonna have to do modified methods. I darn sure can't hold the camera and smack it apparently. And you may need to go. Don't be afraid to, like, you know, twist this sucker every which way you need to. You know, if this is a better angle, and it is, without stuff in the way. You want to hit right here. Is that right? Right here? Right there? Somewhere in there? Wherever you see it pinched, wherever it goes in, you don't necessarily want to hit your ball joint. That's not a good idea. And I heard somebody say, why not use a pickle fork? Well, the reason why is pickle forks cut your boot. We want to reuse this stuff. We don't want dirt, debris, salt. We're in the Rust Belt, okay? We're in Ohio up here. So we don't want all that stuff getting in that boot, pre-wearing that bearing and wearing it out. That's why we're doing it this way. All right, so I'm gonna either have Tater pry down on this sucker, on this, you know, maybe I can pry on it. Your choices of priming are not that great. You have to find it somewhere into the frame and just push down as hard as you can. I got a big spud bar somewhere that's probably lost, but you know, we're just gonna act like this is going to work and pry against something, hopefully, and magical things will happen. We'll have the bottom ball joint out of there, and then I'll show you the next step. Actually, Ken's will show you the next step. Okay. Because, yeah, it's her car. I mean, and here I am getting dirty. It's wrong. Anyway, give us a few minutes. So, you know, most mechanics is improvising, right? What do you do if you can't find your spud bar that would have been perfect? It's over there in the corner. It's over there in the stinking corner. Anyway, so what if you're a hillbilly and you improvise? You just grab one of these. Yep, that's for a fence. And what you do is you lock it in underneath the frame here and you push down to get this bottom ball joint out of there. Then You pull this, actually I took a hammer, rubber hammer, smack that back, and bada boom, bada bang, da bang. Pull this out away from it. Now, here is the nitty gritty. There should be 3, I think there is, bolts, dang on you, right behind there. You see them? 1, 2, and 3. Simply take them out. I say simply because everything has fought us on this. This was supposed to be like 20-minute deal, and it's been like an hour and a half. No kidding. Anyway, so Tater's going to take those 3 bolts out, hopefully without stripping them, because we don't have any extras. And then we're going to see if, like, we can make that do magic? Something? We'll be back in a minute, because we're going to have to hit this now with a metal hammer once we get those 3 bolts out, because it actually goes in from the, no, it goes in from the front, don't it? I don't know. I can't remember. It goes in through the front. Okay. Anyway, we're going to have to get that rotor off because that fits on the hub. So give us a few minutes and we'll be back. Well, 4 seconds ago, we got this daggone hub out of here. Now, you're going to notice, one, they give you extra parts. We'll place that over there. And this particular car had this in there. So that tells me that apparently they use the same hub for ABS and non-ABS cars. So that's good. But it's got all that rust belt stuff I was telling you about all in here. So I'm gonna have Tater clean that up a little bit with some sandpaper just to make everything more gooder. And we're gonna put just a little bit of grease on here. To get this out though, you can hit on the back side of this. It's a little tricky. And what you wanna do is get your faithful old screwdriver and go right in here, get right here at these lips and drive through all 3. And then as you do it, work it out. At least if you're in the rust belt, because yeah, she was nice and cruddy. But we finally got the rotor off. And you know, it actually had anti-sneeze all over it. And it stuck. I don't know, I've got nothing. So we're gonna repeat the process, but backwards. We're gonna get this cleaned up first with some sandpaper and a little bit of grease. Then we're gonna throw that hub in there, throw the 3 bolts in it. And I'll show you a few more tricks, because there's gonna be stuff that happened on the way back together that didn't happen probably on the way apart. That sounds right. Does that sound right? Yeah. So I'll show you some tricks, you know, of the trade. Tater, she's getting her bicep workout on.
Yeah, no muscles.
Yep. So, you know. Anyway, we're going to get to it, let her zip it together, and be done for this day. Are you ready yet?
Yeah.
How about now?
No.
All right, give us a few minutes. All right, if I'm being honest with you, this sucker fought us tooth and nail. I mean, didn't it, Tater?
Oh yeah, for sure.
This sucker, I mean, if it could get stuck, it got stuck. If it wasn't going to move, it was frozen. And it even says the same thing for the wheel bearing. This thing is tighter than Grandpa at Christmas time, and that ain't no joke. So I'm going to put it in a vise to show you. Another thing, don't forget to put a brand new cotter pin in that bottom ball joint. They're cheap, okay? I think I bought a whole box of random ones for like $5 or something. They're real cheap. Or just go get you a few. So we have this in the vise, and this thing was making, oh my, I'm not kidding you, that is tight. I mean, that's like 4 ooga doogas of turning, and it's, I mean, that's not gooder at all. So needless to say, that old gal, we believe she's factory original. One other thing, if you pressed back your brake caliper, the first thing you're going to want to do before you go on a test drive is pump up your brake pedal. You pushed the hydraulics back in that system. That's my save it later pile. So the first thing you're going to do before you take this out on a test drive, pump up your brake pedal. Get that caliper squeezed back to where she belongs. Lastly, you have Tater clean up the tools. It's her mess. It's her fault, you know. Daggone car. But anyway, look at this. Just fuzzy pink stuff. Anyway, so that wraps it up for this. The only snag we ran into, again, was this darn thing, and we pried on it from the bottom of this to the top of that to hold it down in the spot, and she tightened right up. Sometimes the bottom ball joint likes to turn on you too. All you gotta do is put a jack underneath there and put pressure on it, and then you can start that nut. Which also reminds me, do not tighten everything down. Hold on. After you put the axle in and you're lining up your bottom ball joint, make sure you take that castle nut with you that goes on the bottom ball joint. Because if you don't, the ball joint is too close to the axle and you'll never get it. You have to have it just a little bit of space, and then it goes right on there. So that right there is that's a gooder one. We're also going to take brake parts cleaner and hit that rotor where our greasy paws has been all over it. And, you know, we're just going to send it. You know what I mean? We're straight to Sendville. And hopefully this was a good one. Tater, we just want to say thanks for watching our video. And
subscribe here, maybe hit a little like button.
There you go. You heard it from the lady yourself. So thanks for watching us, and we'll see you next time here
At Right Turn Garage TV.
Have a great weekend.